love that. I think that's key. I think that's key to this whole thing is
we do it for everything else, but we don't want to do it for parenting, right?
Right. Well, and also I to kind of touch into what you were talking about. I mean, like now we have social media and comparison is the absolute thief of joy.
Yes.
So I think that we present ourselves on social media at times. I'm even guilty of doing it at times where I'm like, oh, look at my happy family. When really that, if you were there in real life, everyone was screaming and crying, and like I had to like be like pinching them to like get them to like it is absolute chaos. We did family photos once, and I posted them. I was like, if you knew what it took for me to get un smile, you know, like it was just absolute chaos. So I think that with social media, which is interesting because you don't have social media, right?
So I do have a Facebook page that I don't
know how to use.
I don't know how to use. And so I remember one time, my husband and I and his best friend, we were in Vegas for a photography conference. And I was getting these text messages and people were like, I see your location. And I'm like, you know, being police officer, everything is a conspiracy. I'm like, what do you mean you know my location? And I don't even know what it's called, but I guess he was pinging us, or I don't even know how to even describe it. And so people knew everywhere we went. And I had a problem with that. I'm like, could you not do that? Right? And so it's funny to me. So I am not on social media. So I do not know. What I do know is that we are in a day and age where everyone wants likes. And so I feel that everyone's living their avatar life online. And I think that if more people were more authentic in their struggle, then more people would be okay to say, I am struggling, right? Because all you're seeing is the avatar version.
Yeah.
But it's like, how did you get there? You know, you see the child with that cute hairstyle, and you're like, but what did you have to bribe and do to get them to do that, right?
Well, no one wants to look like a bad parent.
But what is bad, though?
Well, that's the thing is like, you know, there's what is good. Like that, it's all perspective. It's all perspective.
It's all perspective.
Yeah, but just saying like the reason that the Heart of the Village we want this to be something that people in their home can know they can turn to is because let's talk about what you think good and bad is, and let's just talk like let's normalize
chaos.
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 Which Calm to Chaos was our very first parenting class. Absolutely. And that in that parenting class, I think you touched on some really key points. And actually, you just sent out an email to all the parents last night about a few of those topics. Let's just talk about those because I think that that's key. In the chaos to calm, it was all about saying one way of creating some calm in your home is by setting routines.
Yes.
So let's just talk about one of the routines at Tender Hearts because I think that that's something that every parent can walk away with just a little tiny understanding of why this is so important. You sent out an email about time and showing up at a certain time to your preschool. Can you share on that?
So our schedule is we open at 7. They have open play until 9. At 9 o'clock, we do circle time. And then our day starts. Well, we have some parents that just casually come at 10:30, 10:45, sometimes 11, sometimes later. We understand when you have doctor's appointments and, you know, all those things. But what in my mind, and the reason I sent out the email is, what are we setting them up for? Our job at this age, which is preschool, but it also applies to middle school, high school, college, is to teach them how to be on time, right?
Yeah.
No one can just casually walk into work.
Yeah. If
you don't show up, you continue to do that, you won't have a job.
Right.
So it's just a disruption for the child because now you're coming in at a time when we are now engaging in other things, right? So if they do come in earlier, then they're able to engage, have fun before they're required to start doing things.
Yeah.
So it's not about showing up and being on time for me. And I remember one parent, she was always late. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm always hearing your voice in my mind. And they went to elementary school. And she said, we struggled that first month, but I heard your voice every day because my child can't bring themselves to school. It was on me. And it was on me because I did not have those structures. Can you help?
Well, and that's the whole key, right? Is not let's take it away from the preschool and let's just apply that as a parent. When you sent out that email, which I've been going here long enough, we're alumni, right? So my daughter is already 8. She's gone through the process. I know, but it allowed us to say what other structures and what other schedules essentially in our home can we set so our children have expectations, because without those expectations, it creates chaos. So the calm comes from us saying, okay, when you get home, my children know where their backpack goes. They have to go change out of their school clothes because germs, okay? I see how they come home sometimes.
You already know.
So they put on new clothes, they wash their hands, and then they can come down, and they can get a snack, and they have certain snacks. And like there's a routine when we get home. They've got a chore list. They know what they can pick off the chore. They get those done. Like that is how it takes away from some of these other topics where I'm talking about like how screaming is not effective. So I don't have to scream at you all day about like do these things. It's just an expectation, and it took time. And I think that's half the battles. We already have so many hats we're wearing as a parent, and our jobs and our friendships and our all that. That's like I don't want to have to do one other thing. This is your child, and it is our job to set them up for success. And it starts with something as simple as showing up to school by a certain time, having a certain expectation. I can't tell you, I've got a couple of friends, I got some teenagers that don't do any house chores. Right. And it's not about trying to make your child like,
But here's what I say to that. Anything you do in the beginning is hard, whether it's dieting, whether it's relationships, right? So you have to put in the work. But you're not just setting them up for the future as in a job or being an entrepreneur or managing people. You're also setting them up for relationships. So if they're at home and the expectation is that you do it, then how are they in school? Yeah. So this is why teachers are overwhelmed. I've had kids tell me, I'm not putting on my shoes. That's your job. And I go, oh, I have shoes. But you don't have to put them on. But the people with shoes are over here doing these things. Yeah. So take your time.
Yeah.
And it's not a struggle. It's, life is about choices. Right. And we say that all the time. And so, again, I think if we shift the mentality, the goal isn't for the now. And my sister gave a quote that I thought was brilliant. She said, I feel as if parents are parenting for the now and not the future.
Yeah.
And so what I forgot to do in our parenting classes, there is a website called Future Me, and you write a letter to your future self, and you can set it at 1 year, 2 year, 5 years. And there was a teacher who would do this in her English class. And so she literally used to just, write these letters for all her students, and then she would mail them out. And so when you looked in her cabinet, she would have, in 2025, mail it 2026. And now there's a website where you can actually do that. Mm-hmm. And so if you could, because you always hear the quote, if I knew, then what I know now, right? So if you could write to your future self or your future child, what would you say? Mm-hmm. What would you want them to be? Who do you want them to be? Yeah. Because that doesn't magically happen.
Right.
You have to work on you. You have to work on them. If you have the systems in place, then it's easier for them. Mm-hmm. And then they're able to go into the real world, and be more productive. And that, to me, should be the goal. Because it's not about me and it's not about now. It's about who they're going to be tomorrow.